So, Street Fighter 5 came out this week, as did Deadpool came out the week before. And they're two things that I've had a go at this week. I watched Deadpool and I've played Street Fighter 5. I've not bought Street Fighter 5. Being a PC gamer, it's had a few errors with servers and the fact that they're missing the PS3 interface. So I'm just going to wait around for a bit. I wasn't too bothered about the lack of content like a lot of people. I would like an arcade mode because I've not played Street Fighter before. So getting the new game and being the first time user on a game, even though I've played quite a few fighting games, I want to have a chance to play bots before getting online and trying it out with the big boys. But yeah, I said I haven't bought it, but I went down to the Ryan Hart's Guinness World Record attempt at Game in the Trafford Centre. Really cool guy. If you don't know him too well, he's a big online gamer, plays all of the big fighting games, and I caught him on a Mortal Kombat Fatal 8 game tournament. Really good at combos. He didn't win, but he looked like he was a tough guy to beat, to be quite honest. I really appreciated how nice he was on the day. Really easy to talk to. He was literally sat on a gaming station for about 10 hours plus. New opponents all the time. Wasn't allowed to go to the toilet because that was part of the rules. And the fact that after I sat there, got destroyed by him. My friend Tony played him also. He got destroyed. He spoke to me for a few minutes while the next guy was getting ready. And I appreciated that because some people would be like, oh, I'm doing a record. And the fact that he was up for I've really enjoyed the new game, liking this character, make sure you try it out. That's all you need, innit? And I appreciate that. So check him out and follow him, Facebook, Twitter. Really good guy. Now, I hadn't played Street Fighter before. Mainly series has been Tekken, and I've played some of Mortal Kombat as well. I got into Tekken when I was little, and Tekken 4, one of my all-time favourite PlayStation 2 games, is Tekken 3 is for PlayStation 1. And then when I was about 18, because I felt Tekken got a bit samey, they just seemed to reskin everything. When I was at uni, one of my uni friends brought around Mortal Kombat 9 when that came out, and that really blew me away. Really felt like you were kicking the crap out of someone. And I got it. Story mode was awesome on that game. Really cool game. I've never purchased Mortal Kombat X, mainly because as a PC gamer, they seem to have messed that one up a bit for PC gaming. But I would like to try it out at some point. But Street Fighter 5, when I checked out the game mechanics and the gameplay online, it looked like such a fun game to play. And being a big Dragon Ball Z fan, as you can see there, it looks like that kind of style. And after I played Ryan, me, Tony and Max just stayed on one of the gaming hubs. We're going to play a few games. We were there for a good 2 hours, maybe 3. The gameplay was just that fun. And Max really got into Nash. I really like the feel of Ryu. He's probably a bit of a starter character, as people say, but I just liked the feel of him, how he hit hard. Looking at it before, I thought Ken would be one of my favourites, but I reckon Ken will, when I get the game, Ken will be one that I play with a lot, but it'll take a while to get used to him. And I quite like that. I like the challenge of being able to spend some time with a character and really get to know them and get to know how they play and go like that. So I'm looking forward to that game. Really fun. Me, Tony and Max had a great time just playing it. Some close fights. And I think Max, in Max's case, he's an Xbox One player. So the fact that it's out on PS4, he wasn't too happy. And at first he was reluctant to try it out because he was like, I know if I try it, I'll just want it. I want it. And I'll have to get a PlayStation. I don't have the money to do that. So he eventually gave in and had a go and couldn't get him off it. And Tony and Max had played Street Fighter a lot more than me in terms of the series, so it was good to go with them and see how they felt about the game. And I reckon I'll be playing it a lot with Tony from comic books. As well, after that we went to see Deadpool. Great film, really good. I like my comic book movies. As you can see, I like Wolverine quite a lot. I've got a Wolverine poster there. But I was a bit optimistic and a bit hesitant at the same time for this. Mainly because comic book films have gone a certain way, that they're all very generic, they all do the same thing. And Avengers 2, even though I thought it was a really good film and I enjoyed it last year, it was probably the only comic book film I really enjoyed last year. There was a lot at the end that was similar to Avengers 1. And I felt like Joss Whedon was doing lots of little winks like, I'm not happy about this, but I'm putting up with it. So I liked that they didn't have a big end of the world scenario at the end. And they kind of had the sort of damaged Heliocraft taking the mick out of S.H.I.E.L.D. there to sort of wink at the audience like that. So I thought that was good. Phone, text, popular guy. Not really. But yeah, Ryan Reynolds smashed it. I always liked him in Wolverine, the first Wolverine film, even though that wasn't a great film and I didn't like the ending much, but I liked Ryan Reynolds in it, so I was glad that he had another go at the character. I liked Colossus. Oh, so good, Colossus, man. Colossus hasn't always been great in the movies. He's a bit part character and he's not Russian, but I always liked that he looked like a human Colossus, like a realistic version, but they went for a more comic book feel with him, and he was so funny. And I'm obviously, spoiler alert, because I'm going to talk about stuff like that. I'm not going to talk about it in a large amount of detail, but I liked that they pushed that and they weren't afraid to make it feel like an X-Men film from the comics. I hope that they do another one with maybe X-Force. If it's Deadpool 2, but it's kind of X-Force, whatever. Seems to be opening up the R-rated zone, you know. And that last bit of Colossus and Deadpool really shows that. For me, that was the deal breaker. If he hadn't have shot Ajax, that wouldn't have been Deadpool for me. And I'm not a big Deadpool comic book reader. My brother is, and I've read some of his graphic novels on Deadpool, and I've always found them funny, and maybe not the best in terms of scope, in terms of where they go and who he fights in terms of X-Men. But I liked his personality a lot. So that was what attracted me to the character, and I liked that they got that on screen. And one thing I do think with Deadpool is, if they do another one, how far can they go with it? I think Deadpool would be really good in a little ensemble of R-rated X-Men movies, and I hope they do more R-rated X-Men movies, because even though I like the X-Men series, Wolverine suffered by not being R-rated, and that was a really good film for me. I really enjoyed it, but it might have been a bit better if he'd cut the crap out of people more, because when I was a kid, Wolverine wasn't one of my favourite X-Men. I watched the 90s TV show and loved Cyclops, Gambit, but Wolverine was always that angry man that, you know, was a bit violent. But as I got older, and you don't mind stuff like that, I really did get into Wolverine. So I'm hoping the next Wolverine film will be R-rated, and I'd love to see Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman in an X-Men film again. That'd be good. And I'm looking forward to Apocalypse. I don't know how that one's going to go, to be honest. They still haven't nailed Cyclops yet. I'll have to see the film before I decide completely about Cyclops. But, you know, that's always been a character I feel they've messed up quite a lot, because he was one of my favourites when I was a kid, and he's a very complex character. But Apocalypse does look like a decent film. I really enjoyed Days of Future Past. Really enjoyed the first two X-Men films. I think they could go a bit more comic booky with the costumes, and I liked the Deadpool costume. That costume was so good, and they should make more comic book films have those costumes, because they're all getting a bit too samey. And even to be fair, actually, in the Marvel films they'd nail the comic book suits, and DC actually, Batman v Superman, that'll be an interesting one. The Batman suit looks awesome. Can't say much about the trailers for the film. I've only seen a bits in trailers where I've gone like, yes, I want to see that film. Mostly I'm like, just looks crap, man. Looks like, yeah, I guess this is the problem with films now, is they've gone in a very money-orientated way that they have to be making $1 billion, and if they don't, it's seen as a failure. And I think people are hesitant towards Deadpool because obviously it being R-rated, that's not going to sell. But as we're seeing, it is. Hopefully we won't get loads of clones of that film, but we'll get more films where they just try and get the right tone. And the director of Guardians of the Galaxy wrote a really cool article on that, where he's saying after Guardians, people seem to go off and try and recreate that instead of creating a film that suited the style of the comic or the source material like Guardians did and like this Deadpool film has. So that'll be interesting to see. Something DC will need to do, but I think I'm going to leave my vlog there for today. So yeah, so Deadpool, check it out, really good film. And Street Fighter 5, obviously it's got a long way to go until it's completely finished, but gameplay wise, solid.